Hey guys, it's Ginger with Gingerly Designs and Soulful Things. Today I am going to share with you guys one of my very favorite products, which is the Daler Rowney FW Artist Acrylic Inks, or Acrylic Artist Inks, I think they say it. Anyway, I like both the pearlescent and the non-pearlescent. They're really a fun product to add cool layers to things while you're working with them, and they do really cool fun marbling stuff. They're just a really fun product, and so I thought maybe you would be interested in seeing how they work and doing something creative with them. So let's go, let's be creative. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in with these FW Daler Rowney acrylic inks. So they are the Daler Rowney brand, and they're called FW Acrylic Artist Inks. The name is typically in the upper right hand corner, although sometimes it'll be down on a little band at the bottom. They also have one that's like a pearlescent line, and it will say FW Pearlescent Liquid Acrylic. It's essentially the same thing. They just call it a little bit different. This is liquid acrylic, this is acrylic artist inks. I'm not sure, but it is more than just watered down acrylic, I feel like, because it's got a different level of transparency to it. I can also tell you, shake, 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 because for instance, this settles if you see that hot, like there's some water liquid at the top, and then this bottom part is really shiny, lighter pink. That's because it settles, so you have to mix it well, because this is actually the mixed color and this is kind of separated. So you do have to make sure that you mix it well. This is another good example that's the mixed, this is the separated color and this is the mixed color. So you can see where there's like a layer of stuff at the top. So you just want to make sure that you mix them before you use them. I, in general, put them on some sort of a surface first. This is the Prussian blue, and I'm going to put them on this little glass palette. But that's the Prussian blue. Prussian blue on the palette. Indigo, which is also a shade of blue, one of my very favorites, particularly in this ink, but I just love the indigo color. This, every now and then they'll get a little blob stuck at the top, which is what has happened here. So you have to try to squeeze it out. It does sometimes, it's not the easiest thing to get out. So what I typically do is I would take this dropper apart and try to wipe off the top of the dropper and then blow air through it so that it forces, it's like a little nugget of paint is what it is. It's like this thick little nugget of paint. It's not going to change the color that much for our purposes right now, so I'm not going to worry about that nugget. But if you're closer to the bottom and that nugget is still stuck in there, then you're going to end up with like really concentrated paint at the very bottom. So just be aware of that. This is their marine blue. Again, I will say these names as I'm putting them on the paper. I'm going to first just put them on my palette, and then I'm going to put them on the paper so that you can see the colors more intensely and how I apply them typically. This is their Sun Up Blue, and this is a pearlescent Sun Up Blue. I love this blue. Incidentally, I'm just showing you my favorite colors that I use the most. They have lots of other colors, like I don't even have a purple in this spectrum that I'm showing you because I really don't use it that often, but I do love their purple that they have, or they have a couple of purples, but I do love some of their purples, but these are just my favorites. This one is called Waterfall Green, and it also is a pearlescent. So I'm going to start with those 5 colors first, and then I'll add 6 more colors and then another group of 6, but these are the blues. So as usual, I've said before in lots of videos, my favorite tools are my hands. I use them all the time. These artist inks, I don't typically paint a picture with them. However, I use them on top of some of my gel surfaces, and I use them in the background almost like a watercolor type of a thing. I oftentimes will spritz water on my surface. I'm not going to spritz it on the paper because right now really what I'm trying to show you is not so much how to paint with them, but more just the colors that they are and how they end up applying, at least with your finger. You can use a paintbrush, but I'm going to use my finger. But I do spritz water, and that causes it to do this really cool distribution of the ink. and it looks super cool. So this is, I'm starting again with the Prussian blue. You can apply it with your finger. See how I got narrower? That's because my finger was flat and then I just went on the edge instead. That's the Prussian blue. This is the indigo. It has more, it's not as bright as the Prussian is. I am going to put a little bit more though. That was our one that had that nugget inside, and so it might have actually affected the color just a little bit. But yeah, this is the marine blue, which is a brighter blue, almost more of like a watery, really pretty watery. But see how you can start, and I kind of twist my finger to unload it onto the page. I do the same thing when I'm painting with it on a surface. This is that Sun Up blue, which is the pearlescent light blue. Really pretty. Then this is that, let's see, it's that waterfall green is what this is called. Again, pearlescent. Very, very, very pretty color. It adds, I mean, obviously all these colors, I end up using them at some point or another for like a sky or a water scene, something like that. They're just such pretty colors. This is their sap green. Love, love, love this green. Whenever I do any kind of florals, I end up incorporating it somewhere. I love, love the sap green. And this olive green is a really great green as well. And then this little bright fluorescent green, which is kind of fun. It's just called light green. And if I need little touches of color, particularly on florals, that's the green that I usually go for, that light green, for just little bright pops of color here and there. Now I'm going to switch on to some yellows. This is the Autumn Gold. It's a pearlescent also. I love this for highlighting with because it's such a great color. Now it is much more of an orangey gold than the next gold that I'm going to show you. It's a much more intense gold. That's the Autumn Gold. This next gold is actually called Bell Bronze. Bell, like a ringing bell. Bell Bronze. It does not look bronze at all to me. It's gold, but it's like a light gold. It is a great, great highlighter as well. I love this color. This is probably one of the colors I use the very most. It's their flesh tint. It is not pearl. And I love it. And when you first get it in a jar, it looks like the weirdest shade of color. And then you start mixing it up and you can see like all the flesh tone that comes out. But before it's mixed, it's a little bit like, oh, I'm not sure about that color. But I love this color. It's one of my very favorites. So I'm going to show you what these guys look like. After the blue gradient, I'm going from green to yellow now. This is that sap green, which is a little bit darker than the next green, which is the olive green. Again, this is me applying with my finger. If you apply with a paintbrush, it's a little bit different. But all that I'm doing is I've got my finger on its side and I'm rolling it off, and that's what's causing kind of this broader stroke at the top, and then as I go down it's just getting narrower and narrower. Obviously if you the amount that you put on your finger is going to affect what the line looks like, so just keep that in mind. This is that fluorescent green that's light green, and like I said, I just use highlights, just make highlights with that guy. This is the Autumn Gold, which love, love, love this for a little pop of metallic. This is that Bell Bronze. Bell like a ringing bell. Bell Bronze. Oh, see, now I just did a little different of a method. I went up and then pulled it back down, which I often do, but I was trying to keep it consistent for y'all. So that one's just a little bit different, that line. Then this is the Flesh Tint. Again, I'm going to start at the top and roll down to the bottom. That's the Flesh Tint, which is a great, great color. I love that color. So those are our greens, our blues and greens into yellow and golds. And now I'm going to transition into some reds. Okay, so yeah, when you're using these inks, a lot of times if the surface is really porous or like chalky, it almost absorbs these inks the way that like watercolor paper does with watercolors. So just keep that in mind. It looks really cool though when you're like adding it different layers and whatnot. It just looks, they just are really kind of a fun product to have in your arsenal of supplies because of the way that they work. They're fantastic. It's really fun to have them. So let me just do the reds really quick on the paper. Again, this is the Flame Red. It's a very tomatoey red. And I love this red. Then this one is the Crimson, which is more of a cherry red, as you will see. It's got a lot of more, I guess maybe like purple in it, but definitely not orange, the way this one has orange. Then this is their Process Magenta, which is much brighter, almost like just a bright, or like a dark pink almost. Next is the Hot Mama Pearlescent. That's Hot Mama Pearlescent. That's a really fun one. Again, all these pinks and reds look so great on the botanicals. I use them all the time with botanicals. This is that Sundown Magenta. Love that one, hot pink. And then certainly not least, but last on the little lineup is the Platinum Pink, which is kind of a paler pink, but yet pearlescent still. So those are my favorite 17 colors in the Daler Rowney FW Acrylic Artist Inks in both the non-pearl and the pearl versions. I love them, and I order all of them off of Dick Blick. I believe they're available at Michael's now. I'm not sure about Hobby Lobby, but you can certainly find them online as well. And they're a great little product. They come in 2 different sizes. They might come in more than 2 sizes, but these are the 2 sizes that I have purchased. This is 1 ounce, and I think this might be like 4 ounces. Obviously, you get some sort of a discount by volume when you buy this larger size. I'm not sure if this is 4 ounces, but I'm pretty sure it is. It might even be more than that. So if you have a color that you love, like I love this crimson color, if you have a color that you love, it's a better investment. However, it does not have the eyedropper. But if you buy the eyedropper size, you love it, you buy the big size, keep your eyedropper bottle so you can pour this into there, and that way you have the eyedropper for it still. Otherwise, it does have a tendency to get a little messy, as you can see on my bottle. It drips over the side because it's so liquidy. So that's the Daler Rowney FW Acrylic Artist Inks. Have fun. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that explanation of the Daler Rowney FW Artist Inks in both the pearlescent and the non-pearlescent. Showed you my favorite 17 colors, but there's lots of other colors, like I said before. But these are my favorite 17, and I use them for all different reasons: to act as undercoats, to go on top to highlight things, to put on top of some of my texture mediums, all kinds of things. I feel like they're a really fun addition to your crafting arsenal of supplies. So hope that helped out a little bit. Some of my explanations, some tips and ideas that you can use them for, and some of my favorite colors, like I said. And if you have any questions or requests, please put it in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe to my channel. It's awesome if you do. First of all, that way you can be updated on information that will be coming out, new videos and whatnot, but also it helps me, so that's really good. And you guys have a great day. So much fun crafting and arting and creating and just doing all the things that make you super happy and your soul full of joy. Take care. Peace.